Happy Friday. I have somebody with me, which is always exciting. We're in this lovely fireplace room and we're here to talk to you about sex and money, which are two really fun things and two things we probably all want more of and better. So this is the beautiful and amazing Tiffany Yelverton from Entice Me. So she is the founder, owner, and chief sexinista of Entice Me and Sexy Survivors. I'm gonna link her profile. She has everything you need to know from her Instagram, so you'll be able to check her out. And today we wanna talk about sex and money. This isn't our first time talking about sex and money, just fun fact.
We like to talk about sex and money
all the time. So we've done it in front of large crowds. We've done it in front of intimate crowds. This is sounding dirtier and dirtier by the moment. Okay, these are the top 3 things we're gonna hit on today. Why do sex and money go hand in hand? Here we go. Number 1, they're 2 of the most taboo topics to talk about in pleasant company, right? They make you giggle, they make you shift in your seat, they make you get uncomfortable. Number 2, they're the top 2 reasons that lead to divorce. They're 2 things we love and they're 2 things that make us hate each other.
Yes.
Like, what is that? And number 3, we want to hit on the gender wage gap because it's a thing. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to hit you with it in 10 minutes or less. Get excited. Okay, so talking about how this topic, both of these topics are really taboo. So Tiffany, talk to me about the reaction we get when we're networking and meeting people and we tell them what we do for a living. Like, walk the people through.
So when you say that you're a wealth management financial advisor, you say that you're a sex coach or a sexinista, people are either like lean in or like, oh, I want to talk to you guys. Or they're like, oh, we're good, I'm fine.
I love that.
You know,
we're set.
We're set. Don't want to talk about it. I've got everything under control.
Mm-hmm.
Usually those are the people who don't have it all under control.
Lie in your face.
And we can read that. Just like we can read when people haven't had an orgasm for a while.
Ooh, she came with it. Y'all better be having an orgasm. I don't care how. Continue.
So it's really important that you talk about these things because they are the top 2 reasons for divorce. And in the last 10 years, money has become secondary to sexual incompatibility for the number 1 reason for divorce.
Whoa, wait. Money is second to sexual compatibility. First of all, how do you not know that going in? Secondly, you got to talk about your money and you got to make sure your sex life's on point before you get married.
Yes.
Don't get married if you don't know the person's money situation. And if something's up with your sex life before you walk down the aisle, you got to talk about it.
You got to know that, that you're on the same page and that you have the same sexual goals and ideals just as the same as money goals and ideals.
So talk to me about when... I just lost my train of thought.
When sex is going really well in your life, like I call it life's lubricant because it just kind of smooths everything out and all those little everyday stressors go away. Like, it doesn't matter if the trash is taken out or if you have $5 in the bank. But when you're having stresses about money, then you don't want to have sex. And so then it gets into that really downward spiral because then you're not having sex and then you're more stressed out about your money.
And so then you're probably trying to address one or the other, but not both of the problems together, knowing they're completely intertwined. Mm-hmm. So you're having money problems, you're stressed financially as a couple, you're really not trying to get it in. You're just so disinterested.
And you probably can't get it up either.
I wouldn't know, I'm not a dude, but she does.
I'm not a dude.
But she works with a lot of men. So you're not addressing either. You're either like scheduling sex or like forcing sex, but that's a symptom of the problem, which is the money problem. So I sit down, I work with a lot of couples and I see wonderful couples and I work with single people as well, obviously. And you see a lot in marriages, and this is no shade, no judgment. It is not easy to make a long-term relationship work by any stretch. But that's where it comes out in the wash. The 2 of us, when couples sit down in front of us, you see everything come out. And you would never think, with Tiffany, you would kind of assume. With me, you might be surprised to hear that, like, I'm a bit of a relationship coach to get the money thing on track, to get people on the same page. And with Tiffany, people might just come to her being like, our sex life, sex. But it's so much, sex is sort of this, or lack of sex is the symptom, right?
Mm-hmm. So many times, especially when we're in an economic downturn or a time where we have more stress in our lives, usually it's one of the spouses or partners have lost their job, and there's so much resentment and from the other partner that they're having to work harder, and then there's so much shame, which a lot of shame around sex and money as well, that the person who has lost their job or is been downsized has that whole like shame that they're not taking care of their family.
I talk about shame a lot. I think every Finance Friday I've mentioned shame at one point or another, and how I just see people riddled with shame when they talk about their money. And I talk a lot about Brene Brown, and she's has a PhD in studying shame and how shame affects everything that we do, and how it's literally like the most unhealthy human emotion we can have. And two of the biggest places where it manifests itself is love and relationships, and your relationship with money. Self-love, I would argue as well, which you talk about a lot,
Yes.
which kind of leads us into the gender wage gap. So this is my favorite thing that Tiffany does when we go to networking events or luncheons where she speaks, and she loves to just silence a room when she hits them with this. And people are uncomfortable enough about sex and money, real uncomfortable with self-pleasure. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. It's so demonized. What do you hit the crowd with about men versus women, money, and self-love?
So men tend to masturbate about 35% more than women, and the gender wage gap is 28 cents on every dollar. So if women, you masturbate 28% more, and you're going to be a lot closer to the men. And why that is, it's not a myth. It's not bullshit. It's totally backed in scientific studies that when we have an orgasm that we create ourselves, that creates the oxytocin is going through our own systems and creates self-love. In addition, when you have an orgasm, whether with a partner or by yourself, the testosterone released actually blocks pain receptors, so you can push through and do things that you wouldn't normally do, like go for an upper management position, or if you are asking for a raise or asking for the sale or charging what you deserve to get paid. All those things that men do very well that women do not. And
I think about that all the time. So you'll often hear me say, like, God, I wish I could just have the confidence of a white man. Or we'll just say man. We'll leave race out of it for today. That really hits home. Like, what is that innate confidence? It's a social construct for sure, but that's part of it. Like, oh, well, men need to masturbate. Well, men need to have sex all the time. Well, like, says who? And also, why not the same for us? The other thing that I love about that is that I think I said this in a networking event. We had to say something like, like unique, not related to your job. And I wanted to plug Tiff, and I said, and every time I masturbate, I think about Tiffany. And every time I don't masturbate, I hear Tiffany in my ear being like, have you self-pleasured today? Or if I'm really down, she's like, self-pleasure and handle it and leave the house, girl. And I'm like, whew, okay, you're right. And it's amazing what those endorphins do for you. I get really similar ones from exercise, so not for nothing. But
well, you can have a orgasm, so.
I pretty much have every time I work out. Why do you think I love that bike so much, y'all? Okay, so we've talked a lot about couples and marriages. But we work with single individuals, male and female, both Tiffany and I, and I'm a single individual, Tiffany's a single individual, so we're not just talking to the people in relationships out there. The common thread in both of our industries that people need to be able to come to our table with is vulnerability. It's such an exposed place to be when you're talking about your money or your love life, and the shame that comes with that when you feel like it's not where it's supposed to be. You have to be willing to be vulnerable with us so that we can help you. But that it's a conversation you to you. You have to accept that you are ready to be vulnerable, that you want help, that you are recognizing that there's things that you could improve, or that there's areas where you feel shame around something. And that's the honest conversation you have to have in the mirror, wouldn't you say? So when we talk about high-powered women, high-powered men, and then the social constructs and the societal pressures around you should be married, and I think both sides of the gender,
they're both getting it.
We're getting it from every angle. We live in a coupled society where everything favors couples, especially financially. Like, it's pretty hard to buy a house in California by yourself.
But I did it. Probably because I masturbate so much.
Just masturbate more, and you're gonna get the best house in California you've ever dreamed of. She's a really cute house, by the way. So make sure you're having the conversations you to you, and make sure that, because you have to marry yourself every day, right? Like, you can be married to a partner, you can be in a relationship, but if you aren't having the honest conversations you to you, nothing will get accomplished.
Yep.
Any final things to add?
You know, we just help you be happier, healthier, and make more money.
Yeah. Oh, it's so cute how we do that. Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Finance Friday. I hope we made you extremely uncomfortable. I was a little uncomfortable, and I'm probably not going to watch this once I post it.
But she's going to share with her mom. No.
I don't know, Clara, if she needs to hear about that. But anyway, happy Friday. If you have questions for Tiffany after this, or questions for me, or need links, she has products. She's freaking amazing. Hit me up and we'll get you guys in touch, and have a great weekend.
Bye.